up with on that one. Now, there's about 8 billion people on this planet. Maybe 15 people get eaten by sharks every year, not a lot, right? But if your name is Dave Martin, you're a retired veterinarian, you're a triathlete, you put on a wetsuit so you're dressed like a seal, and you go for a quarter-mile deep water swim off of Solano Beach, California in the year 2008. The odds of you getting eaten by a great white shark have now gone up exponentially. Let's just say that Australia would have been my deep water swim. I don't know if I could have wrestled off some big guy, you know, I don't know if I would have wanted to. That was a test, sir, you failed. Way to hold eye contact. And I was an all-boys camp at college prep school. We were such idiots back in the day. We were 13 years old. We had nothing but just dumb TV shows. And I'm in Servite High School, and there's not a single black kid in my whole class. And my buddy Jim's like, whoa, they're not here because they're not Catholics. They're Baptists, Southern Baptists, even through witch doctors in there. I go, look, this isn't Gilligan's Island, you fucking moron. We're not trying to make a radio out of 2 coconuts and ginger straw water. So I go to my parents and I go, if I can't go to public school, I'm going to kill myself. And they go, you can't get buried in a Catholic cemetery. And that was their answer. And then they go, all right, well, you can't go to Edison. Now there's a high school that's a 5-minute walk from my house. But that's where all my buddies went. And they all smoke weed, you know. So they go, you can go to Newport Harbor High School. Where I went, much better drugs, 5 miles away, still no black kids. It took me forever to find one, you know, but all my own. That came out wrong. A friend. Now I gotta ride my 10-speed 5 miles down the gauntlet of Pacific Coast Highway every day, narrowly avoiding death. My father was an emergency room doctor. He knew how dangerous that was, but he didn't give a shit. So there I was, like Dennis Quaid, and breaking away, riding my 10-speed from the poor side of town to Newport Harbor High School, where kids are pulling up in BMWs and Porsches. And I'm like, my dad's a doctor. I'm not supposed to be the poor kid, but I was the poor kid. And then senior year, I got the family station wagon, and that was worse. You can hide a bicycle. You cannot hide a station wagon. With plastic wood on it. This thing was half Buick, half Pony Express, and trying to park it over by the old beat-up Volkswagen Bugs and buses, and then I got scolded because that was the teacher parking lot. Then I went to Orange Coast Junior College. I failed out of that joint sophomore year. 2 years ago, they made me Alumni of the Year and the commencement speaker. Yeah. I told the nice lady from the college, I go, you know I didn't finish, right? You guys were aware of that. Your alumni pool must not be that deep. She said nothing. So I had to spend 4 years learning a foreign language. There's an app on your phone. You just talk into it, translates out of the Indian into 100 different languages. Yeah, I was very sheltering growing up in Huntington Beach back in the 80s. Like, I didn't even know that I knew gay people. I did. We had parades and shit. Everybody had secrets. If you weren't gay, maybe one time you spied on one of your sisters getting undressed and felt disgusted and never did that again. But these are just examples. Somebody came up to me and told me that somebody I knew was gay. I'd be like, no way, we were just hanging out. And you're like, well, he didn't just die in a Jeep accident. He's just gay. Like, no way. Man, I could watch a documentary on Tie Lady Boys with my wife. I'd be like that one. That's the one. Cute, small hands, make my dick look bigger. Y'all grow. Y'all grow. That's all I'm saying. So back in 2018, there was a movie called The Turn Up. Winning the Scotian College football history. Now the movie was about. It's about the Jerry Sandusky scandal.
Yep.
In 2016, there was an inquiry from the producers of this film as to whether or not I might be interested in playing the role of Jerry Sandusky. Don't get me wrong, I'm an actor, but what the fuck? Pitch from my agent was great. He goes, how'd you like to work with the Chino? I go, do I look like Sandusky? He goes, no, I got no idea. I just pulled up a picture of the ugly bastard right now. Why don't I get somebody who looks like Sandusky? Well, that would be impossible because nobody who looks like Sandusky wants to play Sandusky. Right now, they're just looking for a big guy who makes poor choices. Ted Danson played a pedo in a movie years ago, and he went dry for a long, long time. Ted's a great actor too, you know, he is. He's method. I'm not saying that he was watching episodes of Toddlers and Tiaras to prepare. I'm just testing the temperature of the audience right now. You know, look, there's no way in hell I did that movie. I go, maybe. I mean, if we were dealing with Serpico or Godfather Pacino, maybe, but we're not. We're dealing with Jack and Jill Pacino. Right? I read those stories. I know I needed the money, but there's no excuse to do an Adam Sandler picture. If you're Rob Schneider, you don't have a fucking choice, but Pacino fucked up. Then in 2000, I did a movie called The Civilization of Maxwell Bright, where I did full frontal nudity. Thank you. I think there's so much more than that. Listen, it's alright, I never watched it either. Yeah, so the opening scene of this film, me and this actress come running out of my house all bloody, naked, and fighting. So we got our robes on in front of the courtyard. When they call action, we drop those robes and we go running in the middle of the neighborhood. Surrounded by a camera crew, parts of dangling, except it's 49 degrees. I'm not going to be doing any dangling whatsoever. Mr. Patrick is all sucked up inside. It was late November, early morning, Santa Monica. It was like a quail egg in a nest. Jelly bean and a big plastic grass. This is this big day. Because I've never done this before. I will never do it again. So whatever state I'm in will be remembered forever on celluloid, and just like film, I'm coming in at about 35 millimeters there. And this is his ball mitzvah, if you will, his debutante ball. Now, I was proud of what I did, only because there is no book that tells you what to do in a situation like this. Turn to the stranger next to you, I barely know this woman. Explain my dilemma. And ask her politely if I could just turn away for a moment and polish my magic fire on this moment. I did it classy, like I didn't point it at her, start jerking off like Louis C.K. Could have pushed my luck with a, you know, you could help with your whisper, a little something in my ear, anything in a voice that's never given me a chore this. Oh my God. So, altar boy, yes, sir, but I was also supposed to be a Catholic priest because my mother let me know at the tender age of 11 that she'd already given me to the Lord. I was going to be a priest, so while mom's a religion trafficking me, I'm already on my way to becoming a serial killer because that's how that all starts. Mom's a member of the Parents Television Council. Their biggest fish to fry is to get a show called Family Guy off the air. Yeah. Hand to God, my mother has tried to get me to sign petitions to get Family Guy. Yeah. I've had to remind the old gal what I do for a living, how I'm putting 4 grandkids through college, and ironically enough, what I was helping to support mom and dad with them. Mom, look, I'm well aware of the fact that you were taking Family Guy money, you're laundering it through the Parents Television Council. I wish you wouldn't do that. She goes, don't take that away from me. My mother, when I was 13 years old, walked around our neighborhood passing out pamphlets on the sins of masturbation. Oh, God. I know this because my buddy Paul Riley on the other side of the block let me know did not get me but the cool crowd. And there's a go by Fellonar. Don't be embarrassed. I was gonna say, don't be embarrassed if you're not. Because everybody in this room does it, not as much as you, but everybody. And also not, yes, paying attention. Woo! Do you have a special room you go to? Have you ever microwaved a cantaloupe or something? Let me get back to that. My mother made me go to confession when I was 14 years old, and I couldn't even go to the local Catholic church because it was too liberal. So she sent me to St. Mary's by the Sea, which is an old Catholic church by the High. Haven't been there in years, but I'm pretty sure that it's still there because they never go anywhere, right? I used to walk down the street and say, hey, that Cracker Barrel, that used to be a Catholic church. Now, I make no accusations, but I just found this rather strange and uncomfortable. I go to a rather small room with an 80-year-old strange man, and I'm going to confess the sins of masturbation, because it's all I got on my plate. I haven't killed anybody yet. He had questions.
Oh my God.
Well, I want to know how often I was doing it, and I am not going to give them the real answer, because that was crazy. I can't lowball this guy because he's old and he's smart. I don't know what the magic number is. I just go, I don't know. And he goes, guess. A little weird, right? All I'm saying is if we were having that same conversation on a park bench somewhere or in the showers at Penn State, things could have gone very different.
Oh my God.
Old father, tell me how often you're touching yourself. Ooh, I had his rapt attention. I could have laid it all out, the huge. I woke up, I had an erection at her, I had to get rid of it. Bowl of Fruit Loops, got a lizard reloaded. And then I went out front, I made a bike jump. I got very little later. That was disappointing, so the next time I went in, I had to tear out the underwear ads out of the Sears catalog. That's all we had to work with at the time. And then that was the time I set up some couch cushions, and I hung those like a rat carrier. It's an experiment. I give like a 5 out of 10. You fucking cantaloupe. I won't hear anything. Father, the fourth that my buddies and I made that day was tits. And so to celebrate, when I went back in, I opened up my sock drawer. In the back of my sock drawer, I had hidden this garter that I caught at a wedding when I was about the same age there. I was at my surgeon father's partner's son's wedding, and this garter still had the perfume scent of the thigh of his lovely bride. And I would sniff that thing like Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet while I furiously jerked off to the fifth end that day. If you'd be so kind as to give me my penance, Father, I'll be on my way. I stayed with a wee magazine I found in the dumpster behind the Hard Times liquor store. Every aspect of that story is true. Every single detail. Trust me that I will leave this room. Mom lives in Florida now, and I didn't push the vaccine with anybody. I did suggest to my elderly mother that perhaps she should get it, because I'm not getting the vaccine. And by the way, I go to church every morning, and I'm surrounded by these beautiful Hispanic families. I really have to mom, they're awesome. I don't know what that has to do with anything. And she goes, well, I'm not going to get the vaccine, because the Lord listens to my prayers. 2 years go by, then I get COVID. That's when I started praying. God, please help her not to be right. 4 years go by. She never got COVID. 10 months ago, we took her on a cruise to Alaska. Because we know the good Lord does listen to some prayer. She's my dear mom. I never would wish ill on her. She's fine, but while we're on this shit, there are about 12 of us, including my 12 kids. Mom decides to share a story with everybody that she never shared with me before. Because, kids, when your father was in Montessori school, his teacher told us that we had to get him tested. Nobody was more curious than me. Tested for what, Mom? Retarded. She had that one right in her chin first. She couldn't wait to fire that off like Alec Baldwin on New Mexico film stuff.
Oh my God.
So I go, and she goes, we had you tested. You wrapped this whole story up, Mom. Well, you weren't. Well, you weren't basing that on 1969 diagnostics. Really a little bit frustrated. This is the first time I'd ever heard of this shit, so I was irritated. There was a part of me that wanted to go back in time to my Montessori teacher and show her an award that I got for being in a cartoon. If I had one. Nominated for an Annie Award, which is like the Academy Award equivalent in animation. Thank you. Yeah, for the Emperor's New Groove back in 2000.
Yeah.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I was nominated against the great Eddie Murphy for Mulan, who obviously won black. Where were the DEI cuts when I did that? Now, I mess with my wife relentlessly because she finds no humor in any of it, which I find terribly humorous. My wife, she's very smart, she's just very literal. It's like being married to an Elon Musk who brings no money to the table. I think she's on the spot. A pharmaceutical grade ketamine for that matter. It's like being married to a poor Elon Musk, you gotta buy him all of this shit. So when I come up with a doozy, and trust me, when I say I did something, I did it. If I don't execute, it's not authentic, and I can't tell these stories up here. So, and I have no issues with public shames, you could probably tell. So when I discovered that pineapples are the icon for Jimmy Buffett, what was that?
What?
Did see a lot of smiles out there, man. Okay, let's see what's going on. Swingers. So I came up with a doozy, and I was very excited. I had to be patient until we both went to our Whole Foods market on Warburton Road there in Thousand. So I grabbed a couple of pineapples. And Kathy's always a casualty, but it was usually a civilian casualty or two. So in this case, when the gal was checking us out, grabbed the pineapples, and she knows me, you know, and knows what to expect at times. That's when I kicked in with the, we're not swingers, the wife and me, we just enjoy the fruit. I go, no judgment here, being with the same gal for 34 years, I can see how that might spice things up, but it's not on the table, because I already tested those waters, and by testing those waters, you know, just come right on out and say, hey, I'm not here for sure, it's at the street or swingers, we should go sit on the sideline sometime, because that's too much, you can't do that. You gotta go, hey, hon, I'm here for sure, or swingers, that's weird, right? Huh? Yeah. Well, a little bit of a chuckle there, so she wouldn't think you'd ever even consider doing shit like that. But if she says some people are sick, it's not for you, just like it's not for me. Those pineapples are from Mexico. They're $1 cheaper than the Costa Rican ones. And so Kathy's just standing there.